essential things, no matter what you do, is you got to use a graphic organizer to organize the findings and narrow down their options. At this point, they don't really know what they want to do, right? You want to give them that freedom, that flexibility to differentiate to meet their needs. So I have all 16 icons here. Sometimes you may say, hey, we're going to do patterns and rules. You may pick for them. Sometimes you may let them pick, but you have to have a way for them to organize their ideas. So for example, my kids last year, and when I was a 6th grade science teacher and STEM teacher, I always loved doing types of bridges. This was our phenomena. They went through, I threw a bunch of straws or spaghetti on their desk and I said, 20 minutes, here you go, figure it out. That was their entrance phenomena. And then after that, we started to do some research. Well, what are some types of bridges? What do you guys want to know? So one of the simplest, easiest ways, if you don't have to reinvent the wheel every single time, is doing a frame. And it's as easy as grabbing that that lesson. So for this, I did a video. Sometimes I did an article. It really depends. And then all I did is what I cared about was like, hey, you're going through and you're investigating. Really, what you need to know is you need to know the rules of types of bridges. You need to know the convergence, what comes together to make a bridge work. And then I want to know questions. But up here, notice there's no icons. So real quick in the chat for me, guys, if you can just put your favorite icon in there, and then we're going to do that as an activity real fast. So just plug in your favorite icon. What do you got? First come, first serve. Rules. Okay, rules is already on there. Pick it, everyone. Overtime. Okay, cool. All right, so now you want to do overtime. So then we have this as an additional piece. As the teacher, I'm thinking, as I'm doing this, I don't really have a preference what they do up here, because I really want to make sure they know the rules, what comes together, and questions. This is more just kind of extra for them to, they feel like they have a little voice and choice and they get to explore. So a frame is an easy way to organize it. Another unit we did is how to make the perfect cup of coffee. This is with my high schoolers. We were doing chemistry of coffee, and we were doing biology of coffee, and then we had a little bit of geography tie-in. Like I said, we were super interdisciplinary. It's a really fun thing because kids love coffee. My co-teacher, I don't want to say coffee snob, but coffee expert maybe is a better word, but we did chemistry of coffee. And then we basically did coffee tasting every day at school, and we taught them how to taste, but really we were looking at 3 different types of roast to do an investigation. And then how do we organize our information? Well, what I wanted them to do was, for sure, I wanted them to have their perspective of what they're experiencing, but also the rest of it was open, right? What do you want to know? What else makes the perfect cup of coffee? So they went through and we explored. We did taste testings with our phenomena and investigations, a lot of different things. Here's just another thing. That's that graphic organizer. Notice how much effort or how much prep I need to do for these handouts once they're made it's 0. This handout will work for every single unit you do. I just print out 1,000 of these. I change out the icon towards the bottom. I sometimes let them pick, but really this is a graphic organizer, right? It's to organize information graphically. I also do a frame. I make a bunch of these. So it's really just making your life easier. So this is an example of that big idea graphic organizer filled in. This is what I did with my 6th graders. We were doing, basically our project was, my phenomenon I introduced with was Chihuahua to wolf, or wolf to Chihuahua. How does that happen? And then we kind of investigated and went through, and then they used this as their guide. This was like a 2-week project to organize their information. And then I used these icons basically to synthesize the information. I would go through my daily lesson, and at the end, they would basically were focused on the origin of the details, right? Where does the modern dog come from? The next day was, or the next couple of days was all about we're looking at data over time, right? So how has dogs changed over time? What about ethics of the rules, right? We're talking about artificial versus natural selection. Is it ethical for us to basically play, master of this and do all this stuff and mess with dogs when they have health issues and all these things? Finally, the significance of it. But really, our big theme here that tied everything together was change, right? And then can be natural or man-made. So just an example. Here's another one. This is what I did with my 9th graders. It's about everybody's favorite topic, the pandemic. Yeah, super fun. I know you guys you're excited to hear about it. I know. This is just the details flower, but it's the details flower on steroids. So instead of just doing details for each petal, I made them do an icon for each petal. And they basically went through it and did a bunch of different icons. I'm super comfortable with depth and complexity. This was a lot but my students also at this point in the year were very good at it. So if this looks overwhelming, just pick top 3 will be details. This could be rules, and this could be questions, right? It's one of those things that's 0 prep. It's a way to organize.